We all want to help the people we care about, right? It's in our nature. But what happens when that help, our good intentions, actually starts making things worse? Today, we're going to dive into this really tough but super important idea: when helping hurts, and why sometimes walking away is the most compassionate thing you can do.
And this is a tough question, isn't it? It feels almost wrong to even ask. I mean, we're taught to love, to be there for people, to support them. But what do you do when that support starts to feel, well, destructive? When does taking a step back actually become the wisest, most loving choice you can possibly make?
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get to the heart of the problem: when helping hurts. Then we'll walk through 4 huge signs to look out for. We're talking about enabling, resistance, fueling drama, and more. And we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaway: the surprising wisdom of withdrawal. Okay, so this is a really counterintuitive idea, I know. Withdrawing your attention sounds cold. It sounds like you're abandoning someone. But that's not what this is about. It's about recognizing that in some situations, your constant presence, your constant help, it isn't the solution. In fact, the source material suggests that a strategic withdrawal can be the most powerful and, believe it or not, the most spiritual action you can take. All right, so what's the very first major red flag to look out for? It's when your help stops being helpful and turns into enabling. You know the situation. You've tried to help again and again, but nothing changes. Instead of getting better, they just seem to get more and more dependent on you to clean up their messes.
And this is such a crucial distinction, you know? True helping is about empowering someone. It's offering a hand up so they can stand on their own. But enabling, that's totally different. That's when you start carrying the weight of their consequences, shielding them from the reality of their own choices. Your kindness, your help, it stops being a ladder and becomes a crutch they lean on to avoid growing.
And the source material really grounds this idea in Scripture. This verse is so powerful because it highlights the danger to you. When you keep engaging with someone who just refuses to change, you literally risk getting dragged down to their level. Your good intentions can seriously backfire and hurt you in the process.
And oh man, this metaphor just hits it home perfectly. Imagine you're throwing a life preserver to someone who's drowning. That's your help. But instead of grabbing it, they grab onto you and they start pulling you under with them. If that feels at all familiar, it is a huge sign that your help is no longer helping.
Okay, so this leads us right into our second sign, because enabling someone often turns into something else entirely. You start to realize you're not just dealing with someone who needs help, you're dealing with someone who's actively fueling drama. These are the people who thrive on chaos. They create it, they stir it up because they crave attention, even if it's negative attention.
And the source material has a really clear take on this. It says that walking away from a pointless argument isn't a sign of weakness at all. It's a mark of honor. A wise person knows which battles are worth fighting. And you know what? A quarrel that's just manufactured for attention is never, ever one of them.
And this gets to the very heart of the problem. See, you might think you're helping by explaining yourself or trying to bring peace, but to a drama seeker, your attention is just fuel. It doesn't matter what you say, you're just throwing another log on the fire. The only thing that starves the flames is your silence.
Now this third sign, it feels a lot like the last one, but honestly, it has a much sharper edge to it. This goes beyond just drama. This is about power. You're dealing with someone who isn't looking for a solution at all. They are actively looking for a fight. Why? Because provoking an emotional reaction from you makes them feel powerful.
And once again, the wisdom here is all about withdrawal. The conflict absolutely needs your participation to survive. You are the wood for their fire. Without your responses, without your engagement, the gossip, the argument, it just dies down on its own. If you remove yourself, the fire has no choice but to go out.
I mean, have you ever felt this? It's like that old saying. You get dragged into this messy, pointless argument. You walk away feeling exhausted and just gross. But the other person, they loved every second of it. Recognizing that you're wrestling a pig is the first step to deciding, you know what, I'm getting out of the mud.
All right, and this brings us to our final sign, and honestly, this might be the most important one, because this one is all about you. It's about the very real toll this relationship is taking on your own mental, emotional, and spiritual health. They're living rent-free in your head, and it's draining you. The source material suggests we should think of our mental focus as sacred space. And when you spend all day replaying arguments, worrying about what they'll do next, or just stewing in frustration, you're handing over that sacred space to pure negativity. It pulls you away from your own peace.
This metaphor paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? Obsessing over this person and their drama is like leaving a window wide open in your soul during a hurricane. All that wind and rain just pours in and ruins all the good things you're trying to build in your own life. It's time to close that window.
So, let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? Stepping back is not about being a coward. It's not about giving up. It is a strategic, wise, and frankly, a self-preserving decision. And paradoxically, it might be the only thing that gives the other person the space they actually need to change.
So, let's just quickly recap the 4 signs, because the pattern is so clear. First, your help becomes a crutch, enabling them. Then, they start thriving on drama and seeking fights instead of solutions. And finally, it all culminates in them draining your own spiritual energy. If you see that pattern, it's a huge sign that it's time to step back.
And that's really the ultimate goal here, isn't it? You're stepping out of the way so that reality can step in. Sometimes, the natural consequences of a person's own actions are a far more powerful and effective teacher than your words could ever hope to be. You're letting the truth of the situation finally do the talking. And the source material leaves us with this incredibly powerful verse to drive the point home. Your time, your attention, your wisdom, your love, these things are precious. They're pearls. And giving them to someone who will just trample all over them and then turn and attack you, that's not compassion. It's just not wise. Protecting your pearls is absolutely essential.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. It is so easy to focus on what you feel like you're losing by stepping away from a person. But what if we flip that question around? Think about all that time, all that mental space, all that emotional energy you'll get back. What amazing, positive, wonderful things could you build in your own life once you reclaim it?